Listen to me for a second. You have spent too much of your life worrying about what other people think of you. You've spent too much of your energy trying to please people who don't even clap when you win. You've been trying to explain your dreams to people who stopped dreaming years ago. You've been trying to convince people to see your vision when your vision was never given to them in the first place. You've been trying to make everyone happy, and all that's done is drain you. Now is the time to change that. From this day on, you focus on yourself and shock everyone. You see, when you start focusing on you, the world gets uncomfortable. Because when you start working on yourself, when you stop gossiping, when you stop trying to fit in, when you stop explaining and start executing, people will talk. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're different. They'll say you're selfish. And you know what? You are. You're selfish with your time, selfish with your peace, selfish with your purpose, because you finally realized your life is not a democracy, it's a responsibility. You are responsible for what you become, not for how others feel about it. The problem with most people is they want applause before performance. They want validation before transformation. They want the crowd before the grind. But that's not how it works. You don't get noise before results. You work in silence, you grow in silence, you struggle in silence, and then one day you walk in the room and every head turns because they can't believe it's you. They can't believe the same person they doubted became the person they can't stop watching. That's what happens when you focus on yourself. See, you can't heal in the same place that broke you. You can't evolve while listening to voices that never wanted you to rise. You can't stay around people who feed your weakness and expect to become strong. That's why you've got to go quiet for a while. That's why you've got to disappear. People may think you're lost, but in reality, you're just reprogramming. You're working on your foundation. You're fixing your mindset. You're realigning your soul. You're becoming the person you were always meant to be. When you focus on yourself, you start to see the truth. You start realizing that half the people who doubted you never even believed in themselves. They weren't hating you because you were failing. They were hating you because you were trying. You were a mirror showing them their own laziness, and they couldn't stand the reflection. So they tried to pull you down, distract you, discourage you. But that's their job. Their job is to test your faith, your focus, your fire. And your job is to keep moving. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them think you're gone. While they're busy watching each other, you'll be busy building yourself. While they're busy scrolling, you'll be busy studying. While they're busy partying, you'll be busy planning. And one day, your name is on something great. When your face is shining under the light of success, those same people will pretend they always knew you'd make it. Don't ever explain your grind. Don't ever defend your dream. Don't ever water yourself down so people can feel comfortable around you, because those who are meant to walk with you will never ask you to shrink. The people who truly love you won't compete with you. They'll clap for you. They won't envy you. They'll pray for you. But until you find those people, walk alone, because peace is better than fake support. Every successful person you've ever admired has walked through a season of isolation. They've all gone through nights where nobody believed, nobody clapped, nobody cared. They worked, they cried, they doubted, and they kept going anyway. That's the secret. Keep going anyway. That's how you shock everyone. You don't shock them by talking. You shock them by doing. You shock them by staying consistent. You shock them by refusing to quit. You see, when you focus on yourself, you start understanding the difference between activity and progress. Some people stay busy but go nowhere. They chase approval instead of purpose. They chase money instead of mastery. They chase comfort instead of character. But when you focus on yourself, you start choosing growth over gossip, development over distraction, purpose over popularity. Let me tell you something. There will come a day when you realize that every person who left was necessary. Every no was protection. Every rejection was redirection. Every delay was preparation. Every struggle was your training ground. Because God doesn't give elevation without education. He doesn't promote you until you've learned to stay focused even when nothing's happening. You've got to learn how to keep showing up when nobody's watching. You've got to learn how to stay disciplined when you don't feel motivated. You've got to learn how to keep working even when the results are slow. That's the part people don't see. That's the part people never clap for. But that's the part that builds you. People always ask, how do I stay focused? You stay focused by remembering where you started. You stay focused by remembering the nights you cried, the moments you almost gave up, the people who told you that you couldn't. You stay focused by reminding yourself that your life has purpose and that you didn't come this far just to settle. You didn't fight through everything you fought through just to give up now. When you focus on yourself, you stop competing. You stop comparing. You stop chasing validation because you finally realize that your only competition is the person in the mirror. You start asking yourself, how can I be better than I was yesterday? Not, how can I be better than them? That's the shift that changes everything. When you stop chasing people and start chasing progress, the universe opens doors you never saw coming. Stop explaining your moves. Stop telling people your plans. Stop broadcasting your dreams to small-minded people. You don't owe anyone an update. You don't need to prove anything. Success doesn't come from talking. It comes from doing, from staying silent, staying patient, staying disciplined. And when the time is right, your results will speak for you. You have no idea how powerful you become when you focus your energy inward. When you stop scrolling and start studying. When you stop doubting and start believing. You stop waiting for opportunity and start creating it. Every hour you waste complaining is an hour you could have spent building. Every minute you waste comparing is a minute you could have used to learn something new. You've got to make a choice right now. Either you stay the same, you become the person that your future self will thank you for. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about living the kind of life that makes your younger self proud and your future self grateful. Focus on your peace. Focus on your growth. Focus on your purpose. Don't let social media rush you. Don't let people's opinions define you. Don't let fear stop you. Because the truth is, while you're worried about how people see you, they're too busy worrying about themselves. Everyone's fighting a battle you can't see. So stop trying to fit in. Stand out. Build yourself. Heal yourself. Love yourself. When you do that, when you start glowing from within, when you start walking differently, talking differently, moving differently, people will notice. They'll ask what happened. They'll wonder what changed. And you won't even need to say a word because your success will do the talking. That's how you shock everyone. You shock them by rising quietly. You shock them by working while they sleep. You shock them by turning your pain into power. You shock them by using every no as motivation. You shock them by becoming everything they said you couldn't be. There will be people who try to distract you, discourage you, and destroy your focus. But don't give them that power. Protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. Every thought you think is building your future. Every action you take is designing your destiny. Keep your circle small. Keep your faith strong. Keep your dreams sacred. And keep your focus unshakable. Because when you do, the day will come when those who ignored you, doubted you, laughed at you, will all have to watch you win. Focus on yourself and shock them all. Focus on your grind and watch everything fall into place. Focus on your vision and let your results speak louder than your words. Because at the end of the day, your best revenge will always be your success. Silence your distractions. Amplify your focus, because focus is the only weapon that can take you from ordinary to unstoppable. The moment you learn how to silence the noise around you, your entire life begins to transform. Every day the world is screaming for your attention. Social media is shouting, people are pulling, opinions are flying, and doubts are whispering. Everyone wants a piece of your mind, your time, your energy. But only you decide who gets access to your peace. Only you decide what gets your attention. And when you learn to silence the distractions, you start hearing something far more powerful. You start hearing yourself. You start hearing that quiet inner voice that's been trying to speak to you for years, telling you where to go, who to become, what to build, and what to leave behind. You cannot focus if you're feeding your mind with noise all day. You cannot create if your energy is scattered everywhere. You cannot build your dream if you're too busy watching someone else build theirs. You've got to make a decision to separate from the noise. You've got to make a decision to pull yourself away from anything that doesn't feed your purpose. Distraction is the death of greatness. Every time you allow distraction in, you lose direction. Every time you lose direction, you lose momentum. Every time you lose momentum, you lose time, and time, once gone, never returns. Focus is not something that just happens. Focus is a discipline. Focus is a choice you make every single day when you wake up and decide that nothing is more important than your purpose. You've got to protect your focus like it's your most valuable possession, because it is. It's not your money, it's not your looks, it's not your followers, it's your focus. The clearer your focus, the louder your success. The louder your distractions, the dimmer your progress. The enemy of greatness isn't failure, it's distraction. Distraction steals dreams quietly. It doesn't knock down your door. It slips through your habits, your phone, your excuses, your fear. And before you know it, you're busy, but not productive. You're working, but not progressing. You're living, but not growing. Every person who has ever reached a level of greatness has one thing in common: focus. They didn't get there by chance. They got there by locking in on their purpose while everyone else was talking, complaining, or doubting. They didn't chase every opportunity. They chased the right one. They didn't listen to the noise. They listened to their calling. That's what separates the successful from the distracted. The successful know how to go quiet. They know how to disappear when it's time to grind. They know how to walk away from comfort so they can build consistency. Your focus is your foundation. If your foundation is weak, everything you build will crumble. You can't have a focused life with a cluttered mind. You can't reach clarity when you're surrounded by chaos. You've got to start decluttering your mental space. Stop feeding yourself negativity. Stop consuming everything that doesn't align with where you're going. You can't keep scrolling through people's highlight reels and expect to feel fulfilled. You can't keep comparing your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. The moment you start focusing on you, the moment you stop measuring your progress with someone else's ruler, everything changes. People will tell you that multitasking is a skill. Focus tells you it's a trap, because multitasking divides your attention, and divided attention destroys efficiency. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right thing consistently with everything you've got. That's how focus amplifies your life. When you pour all your energy into one purpose, one goal, one dream. It's like light through a magnifying glass. It burns through every obstacle in its way. That's the power of focus. There's a reason why some people talk about success while others live it. The ones who live it made a decision to cut the noise. They stopped entertaining gossip. They stopped seeking validation. They stopped wasting energy on opinions that don't matter. They learned that focus means saying no, not just to bad things, but to good things that aren't great for your purpose. Because sometimes distraction comes disguised as opportunity. Every door that opens is meant for you. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every person who smiles is a supporter. You've got to train your focus like a muscle. It doesn't grow from wishing, it grows from discipline. It grows from saying, I'm not checking my phone until my work is done. It grows from saying, I'm not scrolling when I should be studying. It grows from saying, I'm not wasting another year doing the same things that kept me stuck. Every moment you practice discipline, you strengthen your focus. Every time you silence distraction, you amplify your potential. The truth is, most people never reach their potential because they're addicted to distraction. They want success, but they also want comfort. They want growth, but they also want entertainment. They want purpose, but they also want popularity. You can't have both. You can't serve your distractions and expect to reach your destiny. At some point, you've got to choose what matters more, your goals or your comfort, your dreams or your habits, your focus or your fear. You'll never know how powerful you are until you give yourself permission to go all in, until you stop dividing your energy, until you say, I'm done wasting my time on things that don't grow me. Every distraction is a test. Every temptation to quit is a test. Every voice telling you, you can't, is a test. Pass the test by staying focused. Because your consistency is what builds your credibility. When you silence distractions, you start hearing guidance. You start noticing things you missed before. The opportunities, the ideas, the possibilities that were always around you but buried under noise. Focus unlocks creativity. Focus breeds clarity, and clarity gives you power. You can't hit a target you can't see. So make your goals so clear that nothing can blur your vision. Make your purpose so strong that no amount of noise can shake your belief. There's power in silence. When you go quiet, you give your spirit room to grow. You give your thoughts time to breathe. You start understanding yourself. You start trusting your instincts. You start healing from things you didn't even know were hurting you. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. The louder the world gets, the more powerful your silence becomes. Because silence keeps you grounded. Silence helps you listen to wisdom instead of opinions. Silence turns confusion into confidence. When you start focusing on yourself, don't expect everyone to understand. Some people will think you're acting strange. Some will say you're ignoring them. Some will say you've changed. Them talk. Because what they call change, you call growth. What they call distance, you call peace. What they call selfish, you call self-care. You're not doing it for approval. You're doing it for alignment. You're not chasing attention. You're chasing elevation. Every dream you've got will require a season of isolation. You've got to disappear to build discipline. You've got to go quiet to build strength. You've got to stay low until your results make the noise. People want the success story, but they don't want the silent chapters. They want the applause, but they don't want the patience. They want the platform, but not the process. Focus forces you to face the process. It teaches you that success doesn't come in a day. It comes daily. There will be days you'll want to quit. Days when the distractions will look easier. Days when nobody believes in you. Those are the moments you must remind yourself why you started. You've got to hold that vision so tight that nothing can pull it away from you. Because if you let go of your focus, you let go of your future. Stay locked in even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when it feels pointless. The storm doesn't last forever, but your purpose will. Every distraction is trying to delay your destiny. Every time you give in to noise, you push your breakthrough further away. But when you silence it, when you stay consistent, when you choose discipline over comfort, that's when your momentum starts to build. One focused year can change your whole life. One focused month can rebuild your foundation. Focused day can reignite your fire. Success is not about luck. It's about focus. It's about waking up every morning with purpose in your heart and tunnel vision in your mind. It's about doing what needs to be done, not what's easy to do. It's about cutting the distractions before they cut your destiny. Because the truth is, you're not losing to your enemies. You're losing to your distractions. You're not failing because you're not capable. You're failing because you're not focused. Imagine what your life would look like if you gave your dream the same attention you give your fears. Imagine how far you'd be if you spent less time worrying and more time working. Imagine the progress you'd make if you stopped doubting yourself and started disciplining yourself. That's what focus does. It turns imagination into manifestation. It takes you from one day to day one. You've got to build a mindset so strong that noise doesn't shake you anymore. You've got to train your focus until it becomes your lifestyle, until your peace becomes more important than opinions, until your purpose becomes louder than pressure, until your faith becomes greater than fear. Because that's when you become unstoppable. When you silence the distractions, your potential gets louder. Your creativity flows. Your energy multiplies. Your results start speaking. And that's when people start noticing. That's when you shock everyone, not by what you said, but by what you did while they were talking. Focus isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about knowing where you're going and refusing to stop until you get there. It's about showing up every day, even when no one's watching, even when no one claps, even when no one believes. It's about understanding that consistency is more powerful than applause. You are capable of more than you think, but you'll never see it until you silence what's stealing your attention. So stop giving your energy to distractions that don't pay your purpose. Stop letting fear write your future. Stop listening to noise that doesn't feed your soul. Because every time you choose focus, you move one step closer to the life you're meant to live. And the best part, when you finally arrive, when you finally achieve what you've been building in silence, you won't even have to say a word. Your results will speak. Your growth will shine. Your success will echo louder than any opinion ever could. And everyone who doubted you, distracted you, ignored you, will finally see what happens when you choose silence, discipline, focus over everything else. When you start focusing only on yourself, you begin to realize how much time you've wasted trying to impress people who don't even care. You begin to see how many dreams you've put on hold because you were afraid someone would laugh, afraid someone would talk, afraid someone would judge. And you start to understand that the real power was never in their opinions. It was always in your actions, your consistency, your grind, your belief in what you can become. And the moment that hits you, something changes inside you, something wakes up, something that says, enough is enough. I'm done watching, I'm done waiting, I'm done doubting. Because you finally get it, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to clap for you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You have to build it. Your own hands, with your own faith, with your own fight. When you focus on yourself, you stop begging for validation. You stop chasing people who left you hanging. You stop trying to prove your worth to those who were blind to it. And instead, you begin to build a life that makes them question why they ever doubted you. You start showing them that silence can be louder than words, that your growth can be your revenge, that your peace can be your power, and that your success can be your response. People talk, They always will. But when your life starts shifting, when your glow starts showing, when your energy starts radiating something different, those same people who ignored you will start asking how you did it. They'll start pretending they always believed in you. They'll start clapping when it's convenient. You'll know the truth. You'll know it was your focus that got you there, your discipline that built it, your patience that kept it alive. The hardest part of focusing on yourself is learning to let go of distractions that once felt like comfort, learning to distance yourself from noise that once felt like connection, learning to walk alone even when you were used to being surrounded by people who only took from you, because growth requires isolation, and isolation builds strength, it builds clarity, it builds hunger. It teaches you what matters. It reminds you of what you deserve. And when you finally sit in silence with yourself, you meet the real you, the one who's been buried under opinions, expectations, and noise. That's when the fire starts burning again, when you look in the mirror and realize, I still got it, I still can, I still will. When you start working on yourself, people will call you selfish. They'll say you've changed, and they'll be right, because you have changed. You stopped sacrificing your peace to keep others comfortable. You stopped shrinking yourself to fit in rooms where your light was too bright. You stopped pretending to be okay with less, and you started demanding more. Not from others, but from yourself. You started waking up earlier, staying focused longer, cutting off negativity faster, and believing harder. And that's why your life begins to shift. It's crazy how people start noticing when you stop chasing them, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop asking for approval. Suddenly they see your worth. Suddenly they want your energy again. Suddenly they act like they care. But by that time, you've already leveled up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and you no longer crave their validation, because your focus turns you into someone who doesn't beg for attention. You attract it naturally, not by showing off, but by showing up. Every single day you spend comparing yourself to others is a day you could have used to become better, stronger, wiser. But the moment you decide to focus inward, the comparison fades, because now it's you vs you. Your only competition is the person in the mirror. Your only goal is progress, not perfection. And every step you take becomes a small victory. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you powerful, because when your focus is internal, nothing external can shake you. There will be people who laugh at your process, who think you're wasting your time, who think you've gone quiet because you've lost. But they don't realize that silence is where real transformation happens. Silence is where warriors prepare. Silence is where dreams get mapped out. And when you finally come back, you don't come back the same. You come back sharper, wiser, stronger, ready to shock the same people who doubted your comeback. Focus builds discipline, and discipline builds everything. You can pray, you can dream, you can wish, but if you're not consistent, if you're not working, if you're not focused, nothing changes. You can't say you want better and still entertain distractions. You can't say you want peace and still argue with everyone. You can't say you want success and still hang around lazy people. Focus means saying no. Focus means protecting your energy. Focus means walking away from what drains you, even if it hurts, because peace costs too much to give away again. You owe it to yourself to stop explaining, stop defending, stop chasing. Let your work speak. Let your results speak. Let your peace speak. When you stay consistent long enough, you start seeing the world differently. You start realizing that most of the things that used to bother you don't even matter anymore. The gossip, the opinions, the hate, they all fade when your vision gets clearer. When you're focused, you become too busy building to be bothered. People will misunderstand your silence. They'll think you're arrogant. You're not. You're just focused. They'll think you're cold, but you're not. You're just protecting your peace. They'll think you're lost, but you're not. You've just finally found yourself, and that scares people who've only known the old version of you. Every storm you've survived was preparing you for this moment. Every betrayal was building your strength. Every loss was realigning your path. Every delay was saving you from something you didn't see. And when you focus only on yourself, you start seeing the blessings in disguise. You start understanding that nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the waiting, not the loneliness. It all shaped you into someone who can handle the blessings that are coming. Focus brings clarity, clarity brings direction, and direction brings results. You start moving different, talking different, thinking different. You stop settling for crumbs when you know you deserve the feast. You stop explaining your worth when you know you are the prize. You stop chasing temporary highs when you know you're destined for greatness. And that's when the world starts noticing. The same people who once overlooked you will now study you. The same people who once laughed will now quote you. The same people who once doubted you will now try to learn from you. But you don't even care anymore because you're too busy building the next level of your life. It's a beautiful thing when you stop being distracted by what everyone else is doing. You realize success isn't about being seen. It's about being consistent. It's not about being liked. It's about being respected. It's not about being famous. It's about being fulfilled. When you finally understand that, you stop chasing noise and start creating peace. When you focus only on yourself, you start to understand what truly matters: peace, growth, purpose, self-respect, faith, and discipline. You start appreciating your own company. You start talking to yourself like someone you love. You start walking like you deserve to be there. And you start living like your dreams are already real. That's the kind of focus that makes people notice. That's the kind of focus that changes lives. That's the kind of focus that shocks everyone who ever underestimated you.